What's going on, everyone? And welcome to the Cuddle with Purpose show. And we're going to get started on Ready in the Love and Marriage Huntsville. We're going to be talking about season 5, episode 16. Season 5, episode 16 of the Love and Marriage Huntsville reunion. And I want to get into it and talk about it. Bring up several points. The first point I want to bring up, Melanie seemed like she was, you know, like she was just frustrated from beginning, from the top of the show. She seemed like that she was, not accepting any foolishness, and she was seemed like she was fed up. She seemed like that she was like, you know what, I really don't want to be here. I got other things that I could do on my time. I'm ready to get this show over with and move on with my life. Um, then they started getting into the conversation of with the rumors that's been around with Marceau and actual Tisha, not Tisha cheating, but with Marceau cheating. And it got to the point where Tisha brought out is that there was rumor of Melanie was willing to pay one of the people that's supposedly alleged that actually slept with Marceau, that one of the women she actually paid or tried to pay $5,000 to come on the show and to spill the beans. This is how I feel about situation with rumors, is that if you don't have any receipts, why keep talking about it? There has been talks of Marceau cheating on his wife Tisha for years. And I haven't heard now one woman come out herself and said that I slept with Marceau. I haven't heard it. I haven't heard it. And I think at this point is very important. And this is why I talk about, because I'm a success and life coach and I do marriage counseling as well. This is why I think it's so very important is that you don't feed into the rumors unless you have receipts. And I commend Tisha. She stood her ground and she just said it up front. She said, why am I going to chastise my husband when there are no receipts? Now, she said, now, if there are receipts and someone can actually show me proof that my husband, Marceau, has been cheating with another woman, then I'm going to deal with it. And she said, more than likely, I will leave. I will get a divorce because I'm not down for that. And I respect that, and I think, sometimes, when we look at Tisha, and I must be, keep it real. Sometimes, you be asking yourself, Tisha, what are you thinking? Like, saying, how many of you that are married would allow your husband to go to Africa? How many of you would allow your husband to go to Africa? And I think that's where some of the people are talking about is that, you know, you can do whatever you want in your marriage. But with that being said, it's not every day someone could just get up and go to Africa. And I think he was down there for a while, over a week. It's not just something when you're married. Wouldn't that be something that you want to take your wife to? And I'm not trying to, thinking, getting down and beating down on Tisha. But what I'm saying is, I think a lot of people get frustrated with Tisha because they want Tisha to kind of stand up for herself as a woman. Because then Carlos had asked Kimmy, if this was Maurice, would you allow Maurice to go to Africa? And she said no with a straight face, real quick. She said no, there's no way, no. Point blank, simple. And then Martell got in on the situation and said that yeah, he had to go to Africa. Oh, he was frustrated and getting burnt out because of the lawsuit and everything, and that caused him he needed to leave and go to another continent. He needed to go out of the country, go to Africa to cool himself down. Okay, gotcha. Understand the optics of it. And then there was someone with a picture of showing him with his back, you know what I'm saying, in the bed with another woman. And, I'm just going to say this. There was also a point where it was asked about Marceau. Remember early in the season when Marceau had went somewhere and, Tisha had met Marceau at their actual restaurant slash club or lounge, Black, and he had got in her car and she asked him, like, where did you go? Who are you with? And he had said that he was with, I believe the guy name is Chris Fletcher. He's the other, I think he's a real estate broker or something like that. And he said I was with Chris Fletcher, and you know what I'm saying, we went out to eat for a couple hours and we was, out for a couple hours. And I'm sitting here like, Marceau is a type of man or type of husband is that he really does not keep it 100. He gives me undertone of some backhanded stuff that he's doing. He's very careful or tries to be very careful with his word because he don't want to contradict himself. And then some of the stuff he says sounds like nonsense. And you can't help but say, the Tisha said, Tisha, like, do you hear what your husband is saying? Do you hear that he won't denounce that he has not been cheating on you? Can you hear that? Let me tell you something, man. I'm married, been married almost 7 years. And if I hesitated and never denounced if my wife had any type of implication that I was cheating, and I don't denounce it and say up front, babe, I'm not cheating on you. Simple as that. I'm not cheating on you. Wouldn't you think that would make a woman feel good? Like, okay, all right, I can respect that. He said it. He answered my question. But Marceau is a type of person is that he hardly ever answers the question directly. He like to go around the questions. He likes to go around the questions. And then he'll make up a statement and say, well, I ain't gonna even, respond to that type of foolishness. I'm not gonna respond to that type of foolishness. I don't even have to respond. So, I can't make you to believe what, I'm saying, what's the truth is, but I'm not gonna even have the time or the patience to even respond to something that sounds silly. Now, I understand to a certain extent, but if there's these lots of rumors, and then apparently on the next reunion, it's going to be something alleged where there was a picture of a naked woman in his phone. Where does all these things come from? There's a saying is where there's smoke, there's fire. And then it got to a point where there's been rumors with Maurice is that he has been having a lot of parties, and they said alleged sex parties at the actual credit, A1 credit, which is his business, because I think he's a credit attorney. And when he responded to Carlos and said, well, you know what? I think I'm in kind of taking names, and if these false allegations keep coming out here from people, then I'm going to start suing people. And then Kimmy interrupted him and said, you know what, I'm going to keep it a buck. I'm going to keep it a buck. Him, she brought him out. Him, Martell, Marceau, they like to get together, hang out all the way up to 3-4 o'clock or probably later in the morning. And Carlo was like, what are they doing at that time in the morning? Well, they doing guy stuff. They're like, what I'm saying, drinking and listening to, music. And Carlos stopped and he looked over at Kimmy and was like, "What? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?" And I think this is probably part of the problem where I feel that you have to really, really, really start looking at it with a third eye and listening with a third ear. And it appears to me is that Martell, Marceau, and Maurice, they all have some type of, you know, promise that seem like they made to each other that whatever we do in the dark, we're not going to bring it out the light. Then there was rumors about and Martell, Marceau and Martell, they was doing their situation far as they had an apartment together and then they denounced that. Let me say this and let me be very clear. You see what happened to Martell and Melanie's marriage? Infidelity, distrust, lack of respect. You see what has been, what is going on with Marceau and Tisha. I hope that their marriage is able to pull through. I hope that Marceau is not doing things and lying to his wife and doing things backhanded. And the same thing for Maurice and Kimmy. But let me tell you something, man. Where there's smoke, there's fire. And it does not seem to me that there is complete um honesty that is going on in those relationships. And one of the things that will make a marriage fall down quickly if there is no honesty, when there is no trust, when there is a lack of respect, when there's rumors out here. Because let me tell you something, rumors is disrespect. Let me say this again. Rumors is disrespect to your spouse because the rumors are coming. I know people lie, but when you have repeated rumors over and over and over again, there is something that is not right, and there is some fire that was burning. And I'm gonna tell you something. Sooner or later, when you do things, it's going to be brought out to the light. So you could do all you want in the dark, but eventually things are going to be brought out to the light. Much respect to the show. I do like the show Love and Marriage Huntsville. I just hope that in these marriages, when you have with Marceau and Tisha, and when you have with Kimmy and Maurice, and then you have Stormy, who's brought on as a friend of the show of Melanie and her husband. Hopefully, man, we see the positive union of what marriage is all about. And marriage is about, things, people go through things in marriages, but what marriage should always be about: love, peace, and happiness, and respect for one another. And if you're not willing to put your all into that marriage, then what are you married for? It's just that plain and simple to me. If you're not willing to put it all and put 100% in your marriage, because marriage, it takes two people. It takes respect. It takes honesty. It takes trust. It takes love. It takes happiness. It takes being able to go through the tough times and still be able to respect your spouse, even when you are not around your spouse. That's what love and marriage is all about. Y'all do me a favor. If you're watching me on our YouTube channel, Cuddle with Purpose, subscribe, hit that button for me. It'll be greatly appreciated. If you're watching me on our Facebook channel, Marriage, Love, and Respect, go ahead and hit a follow there. Really appreciate all of our subscribers that are subscribed to our Cuddle with Purpose channel on YouTube, because we are all about, promoting marriages. We all about promoting love, peace, and happiness. Y'all take care and be blessed.